Okay, today we'll be discussing about how to configure the deployer and the searched cluster. Okay, so if you remember from my previous video, we talked about this diagram, right, where we have a list of searches which will be part of this cluster, and we have a deployer instance, right, which is used for deploying the user level configurations, new apps to the cluster members, right? So in this video we will see just how to set these two things up. Okay, because when you configure the cluster, the first thing generally we configure is the deployer, then we configure the searched cluster members. Okay, now for this, what I have done is I have taken 4 instances today. Okay, so one of the instances will be acting as a deployer, okay, and other 3 instances will be acting as search aids. Okay, and these 3 instances we will be connecting together to form a cluster. Okay, now I have installed full-fledged Splunk, that means full version of the Splunk in all of these 4 instances. Okay, and if you do not know how to install in Google Cloud, generally all of these are Ubuntu instance itself, so I have created a separate video for that in this Splunk admin playlist. Just check out for that one. Okay, so I'll be giving that video link over here as well, how to install full-fledged Splunk in Google Cloud instance. Okay, now there are certain other configurations as well which we will be discussing when we will progress in this video. Okay, now the first thing we will be configuring is today is the deployer part. As I said, when we try to configure searches, so there are certain information about the deployer is needed, so the deployer would be the first one to configure. To do that, what we will do is we will log into the backend of this deployer. Okay, so I'll just clear the screen. Now we will just sudo first. Okay, so now deployer configuration is very easy. We will go to cd/opt/splunk. This is our Splunk home, etc system local folder. Okay, so if I just give a ls, so there is a file called server.conf over here. Okay, we will go inside this file. So deployer configuration is happened on this file only. Okay, so over here we'll go to insert mode. Okay, so we'll create a new stanza called searched config. Okay, I'll just searched clustering, sorry, yeah, I'll just copy it. So this will be the stanza name over here. Okay, 1 minute, bracket searched clustering, this one. Now there are 2 things required over here. Okay, one is a pass key. Now why we need to do that? Because when we set up that pass key in the deployer, right, and similar kind of configurations we'll be doing it in searched cluster members as well. So searched cluster member talk with deployer using that particular pass key. Okay, that pass key will be used for authentication purpose to the deployer. Okay, so the configuration name for the pass key is pass4 sim key. Okay, we'll be copying that. Now over here you need to give your own password over here, which will be stored as an encrypted format automatically by Splunk. So I'll just, as I am giving demo, I'll just give some string over here. Okay, and then the second configuration, which is the searched cluster label, which is optional. Okay, but this thing is only needed when you have more than one cluster. That means you are giving a name to that cluster. Okay, for each and every cluster by this configuration, suppose if I am just giving cluster 1, so this particular cluster I'll be creating over here. The name of that, the logical name of that cluster will be the cluster_1. If you have more than one cluster, you are setting up more than one cluster, you'll be giving separate name for those cluster. And the another usefulness of this naming convention is to in the monitoring console, where for each and every cluster you'll be able to see the status of it. Okay, by using this particular name. So it is good to set this up. Okay, so these are the only 2 configurations we'll be currently doing for the deployment server. Okay, in future videos we'll see how to deploy different apps using these configurations. Okay, but this is the only configurations we need for deployment server. I'll just save this particular file. Okay, we will just check it out once. Yeah, everything is done. So we will quit this file, and remember always you will be changing the local version of the server.conf. It is not recommended that you will be touching the default version of the server.conf, which is resides in the system default folder. Okay, so as we have changed from the backend, we will be restarting Splunk once. Splunk bin. So this folder will go. We'll run a command /splunk restart. Okay, so while it is restarting, let's go to some other stuff. Okay, now for our convenience, I have actually stored all this IP address and the basically link of this all these deployer and search heads in my notepad. This is easily manageable, that's why I am just storing it up. Now the second step is to configure the search head cluster. Okay, so for that what I need to do is we need to log into each and every search head cluster member, which is this case over here, these three guys over here, search head 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and we have to run a command called Splunk init search head cluster config. Now this command takes lot of inputs. The authentication input is the current search head member user ID and password. The management URI is the full URI with the management port. We'll show that one. The replication port, this is important one, as I have told you in previous video, that the concept about replication factor, right? Now the replication factor means the how many copies of the search artifacts Splunk saves in the whole cluster environment. Okay, so for that the cluster members needs to be communicating with each other. They communicate with each other using this replication port, which will be any available port in your instance. Okay, you can configure it. And the replication factor, that means how many copies of the search artifacts will be saving it in our system. The default value is 3. Okay, and this is the deployer, that means this is the deployer, just now we set it up, right? So this is the deployer URI and management port. Okay, and this is the deployer secret key, just now we set it up over here. Okay, so and this is the search head cluster label also, we just set it up over here. Okay, so that's why the deployer configuration is needs to be happen before we run this particular command. So what we'll do now, we will copy this command over here. Okay, in a new notepad. Now we will try to form this command one by one for our 3 search heads. Okay, so first thing we'll be doing it for our search head 1. So let me just log into each and every instances over here from the backend, because we'll be running some command over there. Okay, in the meantime we'll just work on creating these commands. So for search head 1, the username and password I already set it up, admin 234 $. Try to give strong password in production, which is best practice. I am just giving demo, that's why I have set it up very low level of password, and you know my password now. Okay, now the management URI, this is important over here. Okay, so one thing I have noticed it over here, the URI should be in HTTPS format. Okay, now this is really important. So what I'll do is over here I'll copy this one. Okay, this is for our search head 1 details, right? So what I'll do is I will replace this guy over here. Okay, and the management port is 8089. You have to remember, we should have to give the management port, not the web port. Okay, and this has to be HTTPS, otherwise Splunk does not allow this one when we will choose the captain. Okay, and the replication port we'll choose 9000. I think that port is enabled. Okay, you can choose any port available in your system. Replication factor will be giving the default value 3. Now for a search head cluster, one thing is the minimum number of searches you need is 3. Okay, it's good to have more than 3, but at least you need 3. This recommended that one. Now because of the replication factor of the default value of the replication factor is 3. Okay, so as I am giving replication number of the replication factor, that means this guy replication factor as 3, that means in all these 3 instances there will be a 1 copy of the search artifacts available always. Okay, so now the configuration conf deploy fetch URL, this is our deployer URL and management port. I'll just copy that one, go back over here, we will paste this one. Okay, so let me just double check it. Yeah, 3467. So we will be giving management port here. Okay, now the secret key, as we have done test 1 2 3 4, I'll be giving that. Search at cluster level, we'll just copy it from here. So if I just go to cd local, okay, and if I just see server.conf, okay, if you see now our test 1 2 3 4 has been replaced with some meaningless characters, right? So this is how Splunk stores as well. So cluster underscore 1, we'll be giving it over here in the label. Okay, so this is one server. Let me copy this one. I'll just delete this too, it will be easier for us to construct the commands, because the deployer details will be same. Okay, and the cluster level will be same. So now for the second search head, this part will be same, only the management part will be changing. So our search head 2, I'll just copy this guy over here. Okay, our management port is 8089, right, and this needs to be HTTPS. Other stuff I'll be changing. Let's say I'll be giving a different replication port as 9100. Okay, now for the third search head, we'll be doing the same stuff. We'll be changing this guy over here. Okay, we'll be giving the management port, we'll be giving the HTTPS over here. Let's say I'll be giving 9200 as the replication port for the third search head. Okay, now rest of the stuffs are same, because we have a single deployer over here, right? Now I will be running this command one by one in each and every search at cluster member, right? So to do that, as I already logged in over here, so this is our search at 1, right? So I will be giving sudo su. Okay, I'll clear the screen. Okay, now I will copy the command for search at cluster 1. So this is our search at cluster command related to search at cluster 1, right? I'll be pasting that, I'll be running that. Now it is saying, okay, no search file or directory. Let me see it. Okay, we have to go to our Splunk bin folder, opt Splunk bin. Okay, then we will run the same command. Okay, now if you saying, it is saying search at clustering has been initiated on this node. It is just the initiation, okay, because it is not yet completed, because it will be completed only when we will choose a captain over there. Okay, so captain we still not done it. Now we will go to the search at number 2. Okay, we will sudo su, we will go to our Splunk home bin folder, correct. Now I'll clear the screen and we will run the command related to search at cluster 2. Okay, it has been initiated as well. Let us go to our third search head. We will do the similar stuff. Sudo su, then we will go to /opt/splunk bin folder. We will clear the screen. We will run the command related to the searched cluster 3. Okay, it's been initiated as well. Okay, so we run the necessary commands which is needed for the searched cluster members. Okay, now this is the time to elect a member as a captain. Okay, so this is the important step of a searched clustering, where you have to choose a member which will act as a captain, because captain do a lot of other stuff apart from its own search related activities like job scheduling, those stuffs it manages as well. Okay, so and as I told in my previous video, when a searched captain goes down, another searched cluster member takes the precedence, and that particular thing happens through a election process. We'll see in future videos how it happens. Okay, but when you initially set up the searched cluster, we have to elect a captain on our own first. Okay, using a command, this one. Okay, so this is the setting of the captain. Now this particular command can be run from any searched member which you want to be as a first captain. Okay, so Splunk bootstrap searched cluster captain, then the list of the servers in that particular searched cluster, and the authentication of the current member from where you are running this particular command. So what we'll do is we'll copy this command, we'll come back to our working sheet again, we will paste this one. Okay, so now the thing is, the server list, you have to give all the searched cluster members including the current captain. Okay, from where you are running this particular command. So we will make our searched 1 as a captain. Okay, so if you see, I am copying the searched 1 details as well over here. Okay, and it has to be the exact same way you have configured previously: HTTPS, then the external IP, and then the management port number. Okay, I'll copy this guy as well. Okay, I'll copy this guy as well. Okay, now authentication, it has to be the current searched authentication details, which is the same as this one. Okay, okay, so I will be running this command from our searched 1. Okay, so let us see how it's working. So this is our searched 1, right? So this is our searched 1. So I will just clear the screen. Okay, we will paste this command, run it. Now let us see what is happening. Call not properly authenticated. Is this member using the same key as the other members? Okay, let me see what went wrong over here. Okay, these details are correct. Okay, I think I have to use this secret key. Thus the key Splunk has generated from our this one. So let me just show you. We are currently in system local server.conf file, and if you remember, for in our deployer, okay, if you remember, we have set up a key, right? I think we have to use this key in our commands. So we'll be doing that one. So instead of test 1 2 3 4, we will be doing that one. Okay, I think we can rerun these commands again in all of the searched cluster member. So searched 1, we will just use this one. For searched 2, we will just use this one. Okay, it's been initiated. For searched 3 also, we'll just use this one. Okay, now let us see this particular commands now is works or not. So we'll go to our searched 1 again, because we are trying to make it as a captain. We will clear the screen, we will run this command. Okay, Okay, we got the same error. Okay, I think I got it. We missed one important step when after running this, after running these three commands. Okay, these three commands is we need to restart Splunk once. Okay, so we'll just try to restart the Splunk once and see whether this error persists or not. Then we have to maybe see it what's happening over there. Okay, so I'll just restart all the searched cluster members dot slash Splunk restart. This is very important step after running that command, which I missed to do it. Okay, so let's wait for some time to restart to be completed. We'll come back. Okay, I think all of our searched members has been restarted. Yes, now let us try to run the same command now again from the searched one and see this guy is still giving me the same error or not. Okay, I will clear the screen. Okay, now if you see, the successfully bootstrap this node as a captain with the given servers. So this is the message you should get after running this bootstrap command. Okay, that means this particular searched one has been elected as a captain in this cluster. Okay, so two things I was doing wrong. One is the secret key. You need to copy the one same as that file. Okay, and second thing is, after running this command searched cluster config, you have to restart the Splunk. That's the must step. Okay, we need to follow. Now we elected our captain, right? Now just to see what is the status of the cluster, you can run certain kinds of commands, right? So maybe from any of the cluster node, you can run this particular command search to see the searched cluster status. In future videos, we will see how to see it from the monitoring console as well. Okay, so I'll just copy this authentication one. Okay, and I will just run it from our searched one. Let's say any member, you can choose it to run this particular command. Okay, so I'll just run it over here, and it should give you all the details, like whether this particular member is a dynamic captain or not, when this particular captain has been elected, and unique ID, everything, initialize flag, what is the searched cluster label, what is the management URI, each and every information, and what are the members of this particular cluster. You will see it over here as well. Okay, so if I just run this guy from our searched tool, let us see. Ideally you should be getting a similar kinds of details as well over here. Okay, so how many dynamic captains and what are the members are there in this searched cluster, those stuff. Okay, now if you want to see a particular member status, you can run this particular command. Okay, so I'll just configure this command. So Splunk list searched cluster config, then the authentication of that particular member. Okay, now let's say I'll be running this one from my cluster member 3. Okay, so it should give you all the different level of configs you have done for that particular cluster. Okay, so hopefully this particular video is intuitive enough. So in the next few videos, we'll try to see the other stuff related to the searched cluster, like how dynamic captain election happens, and some other configs like deployer configs, how to deploy apps. We'll try to give some kind of examples, try to see some kind of examples as well while discussing those stuff as well. Okay, see you in next video.